Coming up on Mountain News this morning, health experts say a COVID-19 vaccine is needed to return to a somewhat normal life, but some experts worried that many will refuse to take it. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell made several stops at hospitals throughout our region yesterday. Hear what he had to say.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Lacey Roberts. Thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. Today is Tuesday, or like we call it, Monday 2.0. Definitely feeling like it, and we're definitely going to feel that heat outside. Brandon, you were talking about it earlier, and it's just something that we're going to have to prepare ourselves for, right?
Yep. Exactly, because it's going to be around for quite some time. But this morning, you wouldn't think that a heat wave is on the way because it's kind of cool when it comes to the air temperatures. It's also foggy. We're taking a look at that visibility. This is going to be a daily thing from now on out, probably, that we'll see fog in the morning, probably rain chances in the heat of the day in the afternoon, but not the next couple days. High pressure still dominating our headlines, but you see lots of folks there across the Big Sandy and Cumberland Valley starting to see increased fog. Look at some of these temperatures, though. It's 59. Yes, 59 in Williamsburg this morning, 62 Harlan, 64 Pikeville, Logan, 60 in Irvin and Monticello, 63 Middlesboro, but 67 in Jackson. We've got a couple of sensors down this morning, including Moorhead and Prestonsburg. Hopefully they'll come back online before too long. Temperatures from this time yesterday, a few spots, a few degrees cooler, if you can believe that. A couple of spots, a couple of degrees warmer than it was this time yesterday. We're all going to be warm later on today, though, as temperatures top out in the upper 80s for daytime highs, right around 87. And when you factor in the heat index, it could feel like closer to 90. I'll have the rest of the forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Lacey?
Thank you, Brandon. 7 Cracker Barrel employees in Somerset are isolating after testing positive for COVID-19. Now health and county officials are working to make sure the spread does not get worse. WYMT's Will Puckett has more.
For Pulaski County, their first cases came early.
When we first started monitoring this, it was about one person a day contracting it. I think now you're looking at 4, maybe 5 persons a day.
But over the weekend, officials got word that a new cluster was found at a local restaurant.
Anytime we're seeing cases where there's people that would be in close contact, we want to try and get ahead of that and stop any further spread.
Stuart Spillman is the environmental health director for the Lake Cumberland District Health Department. He says they are working closely with Cracker Barrel to make sure all the proper precautions are being taken.
We believe that they're taking every precaution they can. They have taken it back to not allow inside dining any longer, so they're really trying to limit interaction with customers.
While officials cannot trace this outbreak back to travel, Pulaski County's position as a summer destination for out-of-towners does create some complications.
As far as we know right now, it seems to be community spread. However, we are seeing travel-associated cases in our district.
But for Deputy Judge Executive Dan Price, he continues to stress the importance of staying aware and being prepared through the next few weeks.
We're the 3rd largest geographical county in the state. This is a great place to come, practice social distancing, get out in the green space and enjoy yourself. Enjoy Lake Cumberland. We've got several miles that you can enjoy, but but be safe.
As they work to get this cluster under control. In Pulaski County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, we did reach out to Cracker Barrel for comment, but they referred us back to the joint statement that they released with the health department that reads in part, quote, "The health and safety of employees and guests is our top priority. We've been working closely and fully cooperating with the Lake Cumberland District Health Department. All employees will continue to undergo daily wellness screens and wear masks in accordance with the governor's statewide order." And State Majority Leader Mitch McConnell stopped at 3 hospitals across the region on Monday. He stopped at Baptist Health in Corbin, St. Joseph in London, and Rockcastle Regional Hospital. McConnell showed his appreciation for frontline health workers and talked about the impact of the CARES Act, which provided Baptist Health Corbin with nearly $10 million. McConnell also mentioned the importance of wearing a face mask.
Believe me, the coronavirus is not involved in American politics. Has no involvement in American politics. But we have an obligation as individuals to try to protect ourselves and protect others.
McConnell also mentioned the possibility of an additional relief package that he says will include liability protection for everyone related to the virus, while also emphasizing kids, jobs, and health care. In 2019, vaccine hesitancy was listed as a top 10 global health threat by the World Health Organization. Many worry that those fears could mean trouble for an eventual COVID-19 vaccine here in the U.S. and abroad. Andrea Walker has more on how local health leaders are responding to those concerns.
While health experts say a COVID-19 vaccine is needed to return life to normal, a growing number of Americans are concerned about politicians prioritizing speed over safety.
Unfortunately, right now, there's a lot of folks combining politics and science, a lot of people looking at bad science to confirm beliefs rather than actually looking at the evidence.
Dr. Ryan Stanton, an ER physician here in Lexington, says he wants to help put concerns about vaccine efficacy to bed once and for all.
Even though it's hurried, it doesn't mean it gets a free pass in terms of efficacy and safety testing. We're not going to see something out there that is dangerous simply because we want something out in front of the public. The FDA is still testing these things. They are still having to go through the approval process.
Unfortunately, anti-vaccination movements are nothing new. In fact,
we're seeing a resurgence of diseases that we thought were almost eradicated. And so, of course, increased risk, especially to high-risk populations, young children, elderly, with diseases we thought were almost gone. And so we're going to see the same thing with COVID.
While many are hopeful we'll have a vaccine by the end of the year, Dr. Stanton thinks 2021 is a more realistic expectation.
And the encouragement is that everybody gets it. I know that, once I see the efficacy and safety profiles, if it's decent research and numbers, then me and my family are going to be the first ones in line when it's available for our age groups.
Now, recent polls have found that as few as 50% of Americans are committed to receiving a COVID-19 vaccine at this point. Developing a plan to boost vaccine confidence is now a top priority, according to leaders at the Centers for Disease Control. And there are a number of organizations across the country looking to help those impacted by COVID-19, and many of them need volunteers. One organization, Corona Connects, is looking to spur people now working from home to find volunteer organizations in their own communities. Amisha Balazi is a college student from Kentucky. She says as her classes began to close down, she and her peers from across America decided to step up.
We noticed that as a lot of students came back home and more people working from home, a lot of people wanted to help in some way but weren't really sure how. And as more people were displaced from where they usually work or they're used to living and working, they didn't really know what kind of opportunities there were in their local communities.
To date, the organization has connected over 6,000 people who want to volunteer in their communities with organizations that need them. And first it was toilet paper, then meat, now coins. Economic experts say the coronavirus pandemic has now caused a coin shortage in the United States. Here in Eastern Kentucky, some local businesses are already feeling those effects. WYMT's Dakota Makers met with one shop owner and has more.
An everyday item in short supply.
We are just now starting to see the effects of the coin shortage. The Federal Reserve is limiting the amount of coin that banks can receive.
Ricky Campbell is the Vice President and Senior Loan Officer of Whitaker Bank. He says businesses typically want large quantities of coins at one time so they can make change for cash payments. Now, because of a drop-off in spending due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and a temporary shutdown of one U.S. Mint, those banks are not seeing many of those coins return to their vaults. So they have to ask the Federal Reserve to help, but with so many banks across the country suddenly asking for coins, the government has started rationing them.
So far, all businesses have been very open once we explain to them that it's not something that we want to do. We truly don't have any choice.
Over at Pantry Shelf and Hazard, there isn't a shortage on fresh donuts. but owner Susan Brotherton is feeling the pinch from the shortage.
Last week, my bank, my local bank, told me that they are limited in small coin right now.
Brotherton says she can still get coins like quarters, but she is limited on the number of pennies.
To $5 worth of pennies a week. We go through $5 of pennies a day.
So far, the store is not seeing much of an issue, as most customers pay with coins already.
So hopefully that will offset the lack of being able to just go purchase change.
Even one customer helping the store out.
I had a lady Saturday that she opened her billfold and like sold them $4 worth of change just like that.
Hoping soon Brotherton won't have to flip heads or tails when purchasing coins. In Perry County, Dakota Makeris, WYMT Mountain News.
And Whitaker Bank officials encourage people to take their coins to a bank to exchange for cash and to pay with exact change at the businesses. Several retail groups have urged Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to release coins from their inventory. In response, the Fed created a coin task force to help remedy the issue. And as COVID-19 continues to make changes across the country and Commonwealth, some good has come to the mountains. LKLP is extending their low-income home energy assistance program into a summer cooling program. They are now accepting applications until October 31st. You can drop them off at your local community action agency. This is designed to help offset the cost of higher electric bills.
With COVID, of course, this year and some additional funding through CARES, they did decide to do a summer cooling program. But there's 23 community action agencies, and they have an office in all 120 counties.
Again, the deadline to apply for this program is October 31st. And a woman in Prestonsburg marked yet another milestone birthday this past weekend. Goldie Kahn turned 111 years old. Yes, you heard me right, 111. She was born in 1909 when William Howard Taft was president. She is believed to be the oldest living Kentuckian. She is a resident at the Prestonsburg Health Center. We interviewed her a few times since she's turned 100. The last time we could find her was her 106th birthday, when one of her children told us that she might outlive us all. Well, just ahead on Mountain News this morning, while Disney parks are opening in the United States, others are shutting back down.
Tracking some dense fog this morning and some heat and humidity today and the next several days. I'll break it down for you in about 3 minutes.